This is another live session, so if you happen to be hanging around, feel free to comment. This is 6 ingredients to creating an awesome, great companion dog. So one thing that a lot of people believe, at least in my culture here, is that you have to take your puppy to puppy classes. Now, for some people, that is absolutely true. But today we're going to talk about foundation training. So this applies across the board to all dogs, whether they're a new puppy, a half-grown puppy, or an old adult dog. It is really important they get in their foundation training, whether that's through a school, like you're showing up for classes and everyone else has got their dog or puppy there with them, or if you've got someone coming in to help you to learn all those skills privately. That's absolutely the same fundamental things that they're going to be learning. You don't need to have someone come in or go to a school if you already know how to teach your puppy to do stuff. This is your big difference between having a really annoying animal in your house and having an actual companion animal in your house. In the old days, companion dogs were actually not a thing, not for a very, very long time. In some cultures, they had companion dogs and they're basically bred to look cute, sit in the corner or on a lap. And when they weren't being cuddled and mollycoddled, they were in a box or the equivalent of, or they were on a chain or somehow contained. And that meant that they didn't need any training because they couldn't get up to any mischief. In the modern world, we've got a lot of expectations of companion dogs, and the only way that we're going to get there, unless you have got a magically genetically perfectly raised puppy, which is very rare, you're going to have to put in some training time. Now, training for a dog is basically learning to play Simon Says. And what your result is, it's a game. They love doing what you ask them to do because you're fun to be around. That's reward-based training, of course. If you use aversives in training, obviously you can't start until they are 6 months plus. Younger than that, they don't cope well. They can actually go to pieces and be a what they call a ruined dog. So if you use aversives, what you'll find is they're not responding because you're fun to be around. They're responding because they fear the consequences. So you will tend to get grudging response, and they will do so very quickly if you're good at training with aversives. The benefit of using reward-based training is that they kind of want to do what you've taught them to do, and they will do it on their own without any standover tactics because it's been fun to do in the past. So foundation training is stuff like put yourself into a position when you are asked to. So you ask your dog to sit and their butt goes on the floor and the front half stays up. So pretty simple thing to teach puppy. Some people manage not to. And it's such a simple little thing to teach any dog unless they've got joint issues. They will be able to sit when you ask them to, and there are so many things that you can't be doing if your butt is on the floor. So being able to ask your dog to do something on cue or on command is just really an easy way to make them more civilized. You can't jump into the bowl of popcorn if someone has asked you to sit or lie down. And the other nice thing about foundation training, reward-based of course, is that they learn if they do this thing, then they will get something good out of it. So it is a very easy way to create a relationship in which your dog is happy to do anything that you want them to do because it's fun, because you do fun stuff with them. It generally makes my life a lot easier. So foundation training is, there's a little bit involved in getting there. And that's why, unless you've had dogs before, it is a good idea to get some education somewhere. I run puppy classes, of course, and they're not for teaching puppies. The puppies are there. They're getting some extra socialisation in. You should never only socialise your puppy during a once-a-week puppy class. That's a very bad way of doing it. It's better than nothing. But yeah, definitely it's one little part of your socialisation, and the main thing that you're there for is for you, if you haven't done it before, for you to learn how to teach your puppy the foundation exercises, things like wait and settle, and don't do anything until I ask you to. There's your sit, down, stand, and that's all about making sure that they can discriminate between the different things that you're asking them to do. And what else have we got? Oh, yeah, there's a really important one. Come when you're called. It's super simple to teach, but it requires a lot of practice right throughout the dog's life. So your foundation training, once you know what those exercises are and how to do them, you can maintain that level of respectableness, of being civilized, that you're actually wanting from your puppy when they're in your house and part of your household. So super, super important for having a really great companion dog is that they just follow house rules without even thinking about it, because that's the way they've been trained and brought up. Or when you brought them home as a rescue, you've been onto it from day dot, making sure that they, first of all, you use that management thing I've talked about in a previous session. They couldn't get up to naughty stuff, and the behaving well has always worked for them. And that's training, making sure that good behaviour is rewarded with either a life reward or an actual thing that you're providing that they like. So a lot of people have issues with training their dogs, and a lot of it's because they're actually expecting a dog to have human values about something like, I don't know, rolling in cat poo is not a glamorous thing to do. So, you know, conflicting values, you're expecting them to share your views on the world, and you haven't taught them how to behave differently. So once you've got that complicated situation coming up and you haven't got good foundation training, you really tend to run into a lot of not just problems with their behaviour, but conflict, and you know, that companionable relationship's going to suffer because you're not being very nice to the dog's not being very nice to you, and there's a lot of miscommunication. So if you've got questions about dog behaviour and training, you can get in touch with me, and I'm always happy to talk about dogs. I'm not doing a lot of private work at the moment. I have got other things going on, like my snake avoidance course. That's being basically becoming more and more detailed, and lots more information on it, and having fun doing it. My puppy program is going to be going online. So I've got all sorts of stuff in the pipeline. But if you do need private help, I actually know quite a few really good people as well. So I hope everyone's going to enjoy their Christmas and New Year's. Hope your dogs are going to have some fun presents under the tree as well. And I will see you again next week. And hopefully I'll see you right into the new year as well. So have fun with your dogs, and I will see you next week.